You're not gonna believe this, but Johnny Depp, yes, that Johnny Depp, is back. And not in the way you'd expect. This isn't a big Marvel cameo. It's not another pirate epic. It's not even a wild courtroom headline that takes over social media for weeks. This time, it's different. This time, Johnny Depp is returning with something way more intimate. Way more mysterious. And honestly, kind of haunting. It's a project called Day Drinker. And just from the title alone, you can already tell, it's not going to be your usual Hollywood spectacle. This one? It feels personal. It feels quiet. And it feels like it might just be the most revealing thing he's ever done. But hold on, before you jump to conclusions or start reading too much into the name, Day Drinker isn't what most people think it is. It's not a film about alcohol. It's not about bad habits. It's not some gritty, substance-fueled downward spiral story. It's something else. And that's what makes it so fascinating. Because if you followed Johnny at all, if you've seen his career go from cult classics to global fame to personal chaos and now, to something calmer, you'll realize that Day Drinker doesn't feel like just another role. It feels like a mirror. A quiet, slow, foggy mirror held up to the soul of a man who's been through a lot and is finally choosing to say something, not through interviews or press conferences, but through a character. So what is this all about? Why is everyone whispering about this project? And what makes Day Drinker feel like more than just a movie? Well, let's dive in. From what we know so far, Day Drinker is an indie film. That already tells you a lot. It means this isn't built to sell toys. It's not aiming for box office records. This one's made for storytelling, for art. For those quiet little truths you only see when you really pay attention. Johnny isn't just starring in it either. He's producing it. He's working behind the scenes. He's shaping it. This isn't just a job, this is something he clearly wants to create. The story? It centers around a man living alone in a small, decaying coastal town. The kind of place where time moves slow. Where buildings lean from decades of salt air. Where mornings roll in with fog and silence. And where, for reasons we don't fully understand yet, the main character, Johnny's character, starts every day with a drink. But here's the thing, he's not drinking to party. He's not celebrating. He's not trying to be cool. He's trying to forget. He's trying to numb something we don't know yet. And he does it quietly. This character is a loner. Not in a dramatic, angry way, but in that soft, invisible kind of way. The kind of person who walks into a bar and barely gets noticed. The kind of guy who has a past, sure, but isn't talking about it. He's not flashy. He's not cracking jokes. He's not full of quirky energy like Jack Sparrow. No eyeliner. No swords. Just silence. And that's what pulls you in. Because the more you watch him, the more you feel like you're seeing something real. Something that maybe Johnny has carried with him for a while. Something that couldn't be said out loud before, but now, through this character, it finally can. What's even more interesting is that we don't even know the character's name. Not officially, at least. And maybe that's the point. Maybe he's meant to be more like a reflection than a person. A symbol of grief. Of isolation. Of regret. There are long stretches in the film where nothing really happens. And I mean that in the best possible way. No car chases. No explosions. Just this man, waking up, staring at the ceiling, walking the same roads, pouring the same drink. Day after day. But in those quiet moments, something deeper is revealed. The way he looks out at the ocean. The way his hand shakes just a little when he lights a cigarette. The way he pauses before speaking, as if every word is too heavy to say. It's not a film that tells you what to think. It lets you feel it. And that's what sets it apart. Now let's talk about how it's made, because that's a whole story on its own. This film isn't using big studio tricks. It's not glossy. In fact, most of the scenes are shot using natural light. No studio lamps. No carefully staged effects. Just sunlight. Or rain. Or fog. Whatever nature gives them that day. And that changes everything. It makes the whole thing feel real. Like you're not watching a movie, you're peeking into someone's actual life. Johnny's team also did something rare, they let scenes unfold organically. That means a lot of the dialogue was improvised. Not in a wild, off-the-rails way, but in that subtle way where the actor gets to just be. React. Exist. So when you see Johnny in this film, you're not just watching him act. You're watching him feel. And if you've watched his older movies closely, you might even catch some little callbacks. There's a way he flicks a cigarette that feels like Donnie Brasco. A glance over his shoulder that reminds you of Edward Scissorhands. Even a silent nod that almost feels like it came from Public Enemies. It's like this role pulls pieces from everything he's done before, but strips away all the extra stuff, leaving only the core. The soul. And then, there's the music. This part is wild, because the soundtrack? It's not just some random playlist. It's carefully chosen. Or maybe even partly written by Johnny himself. It's not upbeat. It's not orchestral. It's ambient. Slow. Jazz. Maybe some raw guitar, like the kind you'd hear in a forgotten bar at the end of the world. It wraps around the film like a fog. It doesn't interrupt, it just lingers. And the more you listen to it, the more you feel what the character's feeling, even if he never says a word. Honestly, if you wanted to recreate the vibe of Day Drinker at home, you totally could. Dim the lights. Turn off your phone. Pour yourself a drink, it could be tea, wine, anything. Put on some Nick Cave. Maybe a little Tom Waits. Sit by a window. And just think. Let your mind wander. Let the quiet fill the room. That's the kind of film this is. It's not trying to impress you. It's trying to sit with you. To say something quietly that maybe you've been feeling too. Now, here's what's crazy, there's no big marketing campaign. No flashy trailer dropped with dramatic voiceovers. No talk show circuit yet. No social media blitz. And that might just be the most brilliant part. Because Day Drinker doesn't need to shout. It whispers. And if you're paying attention, it hits hard. Now let's get a little deeper, why this role? Why now? Some say it's Johnny's response to everything he's been through, the fame, the love, the loss, the chaos. But instead of yelling about it, instead of defending himself, he's doing what true artists do, he's expressing it. Not literally. Not with facts or speeches. But through feeling. Through a lonely man in a quiet town, trying to remember who he used to be, or maybe trying to forget it. And that makes Day Drinker not just a story, but a statement. It's not a comeback. It's not a performance. It's a moment. A mood. A man sharing something with the world in the only way he can right now. Because sometimes, after everything, after the noise, the headlines, the critics, the fans, the chaos, you don't want to make a statement. You just want to breathe. To sit with the silence. To create something that doesn't demand attention, but simply exists. That's what this feels like. Johnny Depp isn't trying to reclaim the spotlight here. He's not stepping into this role to prove something to anyone. This isn't about redemption or revenge or reinvention. It's about release. About finding a quiet space where he can finally say the things he's never been able to say, not through interviews or press tours, but through stillness. Through a character who says very little, but feels everything. This film, Day Drinker, feels like it was made for one person. Johnny himself. And maybe, that's the beauty of it. It's not polished to perfection or packed with big-budget distractions. It's raw. Honest. A little messy. Just like life. Just like healing. Just like truth. When you strip away the makeup, the costumes, the voices, the personas, you're left with a man. A soul. Someone who's just there. Present. Trying to figure things out. And by inviting us into that quiet world, he's giving us permission to do the same. It's not a performance in the traditional sense, it's a confession in disguise. A whispered thought between one human and another. And in a world that's always shouting, there's something incredibly powerful about someone choosing to just whisper. And that's powerful. So, what do you think? Do you think Day Drinker is a message? A kind of therapy? A way of closing a chapter, or maybe opening a new one? Or do you think it's just Johnny being Johnny, finding the strangest, most beautiful way to surprise us once again? Let me know in the comments. Seriously. If you've followed his career, if you've watched the highs, the heartbreaks, and everything in between, I'd love to know how this project makes you feel. And if this video gave you even one moment where you paused and thought, wow, I didn't expect that, then do me a favor, tap the like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because here's the thing, Johnny Depp isn't done evolving. Not even close. And neither are we. Catch you in the next one.